Scott Down and all the great DJs. Every Saturday night, we'd open up the night. I'd get in the sound booth again on the mic and say something like, "It's DBGB's. Welcome, everybody, to Saturday Night Meltdown, featuring the incredible Scott Down and Charlie the Butcher." Yeah, right? Something like that.
I stood at Bohemian Grove Bar. There's amazing girls and dancing everywhere.
Gigi, the Prime Minister wants to know if you have what he wants. He wants your smoked barbecue chicken wings.
If any of you wanted to take a break from your cell phones for 2 seconds to bother listening and caring about what ultimately affects the rest of your lives, we can go ahead and talk about important things on the world stage, namely you being exploited.
Where have
namely
you been?
your degrees not
I was
meaning
at
anything.
Bohemian Grove Bar and you weren't there.
I'm so glad that none of you are listening right now.
Yeah, dude, guys were buying me drinks all night. It was awesome.
You see, I'm already entrenched in my life, but all of you will be coming into the workforce in a few years, and there'll be many, many of you competing for the same joyful, pointless, menial job.
I mean, I don't know, DBGB, do you want to know how it came about, right? It was a long time in the making. You know, my family's been doing this my whole life.
It's a long time ago, it's 10 years already. And prior to that, you know, of course the kids grew up in a restaurant family.
My great-grandfather ran Lindy's, which is was a famous restaurant. They were famous for their cheesecake. I believe it was on Broadway.
We usually have lunch in a restaurant that's right in the building. It's convenient. The owner appreciates any help he can get. It's called Lindy's. The Sarge usually comes down about this time.
Hi, do you know
Sarge.
anybody in there?
The usual gang.
Hello, Mr. Heller, how are you?
He came over here, not a penny to his name, and he was sleeping on the dirty linens at night. His uncle got him a job there. He was a busboy. And then he worked there. He was the manager there for a long time, you know, hobnobbing with all the right people. He ended up owning his own restaurant.
I have a lot of pictures from his own private bar in his house, which was phenomenal. So I grew up in the restaurant business.
My family, my dad and his brothers own a number of places, famous places in the 70s and 80s and 90s. The Stuffed Mushroom was the most famous. Place was there for 27 years on the corner of Main and Fillmore. It was absolutely an iconic Buffalo night spot. People still talk about it. It's been closed since 1997.
Well, he grew up in the business, JJ, from when he was a little kid. We had this hot bar, and we did these three facets of business. Well, businessman's lunch, dinner, neighborhood dinner, and then college bar. So he grew up in it. And then when we opened the Crocodile Bar up on Chippewa, he watched us gut that place out, rebuild it ourselves. We opened it up, and it was a success, and then we expanded it, and then it was off the charts. You know, it was the busiest place in the city.
That was one of the places, as a young guy, I started socializing with people that would become television, movie stars, famous comedians, guys like Rick Aviles.
You're dead, Willie.
Taylor Negron, I went fishing with my family's cabin.
Order the double cheese and sausage.
I met Roseanne Barr as a little kid, Chris Rock, Bobby Collins.
I mean, this guy's literally like, that's a good exercise. Are you ready to go on to another exercise? And I'm looking at him going, what what a whack this guy is, right? But I'm not stupid. Yes, I am ready to go on to another exercise.
Sam Kinison.
Hey, Professor, take it easy, will you?
Some of the, Richard Lewis, Dennis Leary.
$1,500.
$1,500? You paid $1,500 for those fucking shoes? No wonder your wife is pissed.
You sound like my fucking wife.
But anybody would be pissed on that end. Come on.
And it was incredible that the kids got to meet a lot of, they're really big now, comedians.
Well, every year Jim Kelly would throw his golf tournament. They had the quarterback club, right? Elway and Montana, right? They would all come there. If there was a game or they were in town for the weekend, that's where they would come. And we'd rope off a spot for them so they wouldn't get mauled. You know, the concert people that used to come in town, Steve Perry, the guy from Aerosmith. Oh, I could go on and on.
Any good stories about any of these guys?
Yeah, but we don't want to put them on tape.
I basically spent my whole entire life learning the bar business. And it wasn't because I really wanted to, but when you grow up like that, we spent a lot of our time in the different bars and clubs. Even as a little kid, you go to run an errand with your mother, she picks up takeout food from the bar to feed you and your sister. You sit at the bar for an hour or two while they're cooking the food and observe what's going on. I remember going to hockey practice to and from. My dad would bring me to hockey. Always stop at the bar on the way there, on the way back.
I want to be the manager was the first thing out of his mouth. He was like 18. I got a manager. Hey, well, one thing about JJ, he always wanted to start at the top. I can say, hey, you got to learn how to do every job. You got to know, you got to mop the floors first, so you know what the porter does. Then you got to be the bar back, so you know what the bar back does. Then you got to be the bartender. Then you can be the manager. You got to work the door. You got to know. You can't tell people what to do if you don't know what the job entails. So he begrudgingly did his job. It was a struggle, but he did them, and he learned what had to be done.
For years and years, I mean, you're talking basically my whole adult life, from the time I was 21 or 22 until I was 32, I was managing places, and all different kinds of places, pizzerias, restaurants, and then I got into bars and nightclubs.
So it's just kind of like in our blood. And then I met my husband, of course, working at Hutch's, and he was the manager over there for like 14 years, something like that. I don't know, it just kind of all came together. My brother, myself, my husband, we were all kind of looking to do our own thing. And many years of reading about secret societies and elite cabals and all this other stuff kind of brought in that whole Bohemian Grove theme, so.
What could I say? The Freemasons. He is somebody who keeps connections with people. Always has, always will. And I think that was another way for him to have connections, plus the fact that it goes into all the secret stuff that JJ loves. You know, he loves all that secret whatever.
My brother's always kind of been into that type of thing. I mean, I remember when he was like 12, we were close in age. He's my older brother. I was always into the same thing he was into, so he kind of taught me about all that stuff.
We had this thing with the Bohemian Grove, which is a secret society, and it's true, and you can Google it. It's out in California, where the richest 1% go and do what they do there. I don't know what they do, but they worship a statue of an owl, and JJ and my wife are big conspiracy theorists. I kind of believe in certain things. I'm more of like an alien Bigfoot kind of guy, but, ask them about JFK, and they'll talk to you for a whole night.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, JJ did get me to read the Satanic Bible, which is kind of an interesting read if you have the time to do it, because they basically say if you want something, go out and get it, and it's not as dark as you would normally think of it, but that's kind of like runs into his theme where there's like the devils on the wall, there's just crazy artwork everywhere and dark.
You had conspiracy theories painted into the tables. This place was its own entity.
I think it took a long time for people to notice it. I think animalistic kind of nature was just happening naturally, and without them realizing that they were, the floor, the decor on the walls. I don't think people really realized that it was Masonic or devilistic until a couple years of being there. Like, oh, wait a minute, I've been here all this time. I never noticed that crazy ass thing up on the wall, or, you know, the design on the floor, or, you know, all the JFK Illuminati things in the bathrooms or whatever it was. I do feel like it might have inspired people to be a little bit more out of their own nature.
Well, JJ already had the concept. The name wasn't set up yet, but what happened was I had a brother, second older brother. His name was Peter Duquin, but he took the name Duke.
It's unfortunate how that was really able to come about, and that is with JJ's brother-in-law, Patrick's brother Duke, who died.
So my brother passed away, unfortunately, unexpectedly, before the bar opened. But with his forethought, he had actually somehow acquired money and life insurance policies for his siblings, my older brother, myself, and my sister. So came into money.
They approached me, I was running the third room, and they said to me, Jay, here's our chance, we got the startup cash. Do you wanna open up a place, a restaurant and a bar? Our original idea was to make it a lot like the Stuffed Mushroom, a bar that thought it was a restaurant that thought it was a bar, a place that was open 365 days a year. So at the time I was in trouble. You know, it's a different world now, it's 2020, but I got in trouble for weed. Nobody gets in trouble for weed anymore. I got in trouble for weed. It's the only time I ever got in trouble. I got in big trouble. Probation, I'm getting drug tested all the time and breathalyzed all the time and not really knowing what was gonna happen. And I was like, I don't really think I'm in a position to be the guy running the nightclub dealing with all this stuff. And my sister looked at me and she was like, listen, fuck all that. You're gonna get through this. I need you to step up to the plate. I don't care what you're going through. You're the best in the biz. You gotta do this. We're gonna do this. So I was like, okay. Fuck it, I'll do it.
And so it was Duke's Bohemian Grove Bar after Duke, but it was also about DBGBs and BBG, all the places in New York City, CBGBs, right, in New York City. That was something. JJ's a big researcher and all of those things, so they did Duke's Bohemian Grove Bar. I mean, it really was giving kudos to CBGBs and anything else around that, and to Duke for giving them the opportunity.
That bar was such a perfect venue, dive bar kind of combination. Also, I might add, it has like the best wings I've ever had.
DBGB's, smoked wings, right? They were the thing. Instead of being this chicken wing that you put in a deep fat fryer and it's disgusting for you and it's just laden in grease and it's completely bad for your cholesterol. I mean, the litany of things that go on with a chicken wing is pretty extensive. These are smoked in a smoker. And there's no grease, so they're a lot healthier, you know?
You talked about smoked wings. I remember you going, Louis, try these the first time I went in there, and that was it. I was hooked. The wings, the smoked wings, were probably the best wings I've eaten in Buffalo. And all these places are supposed to be great. I was like, these take the charge. You should be boxing these, I said.
Let's not skip over the food. Like, the food was so quality. The food, I mean, we're a foodie town, but that was before I was vegan. That was some of the best wings that I ever had.
His bar garnered national attention because of the food. I mean, he had Bills and Sabres there that were making national news and talking about the food at DBGB's. Duke's Wings became global because of the athletes that he had there. And the fact that they were doing interviews on ESPN and these magazines were talking about Duke's Bar and Grill for their wings.
I made sure to request them when we had our wrap parties there, and they came like highly recommended. The smoked barbecue wings are, I want them right now. I'm talking about them, I want them right now.
I remember waking up and reading the Buffalo News, and there was this article concerning DBGB's, my friend, JJ. Pat DeQuinn, who I've known for years, you know, that whole conglomerate of DBGB's was being sued by this guy I've looked up to for quite some time, Daniel Boulud. So Daniel Boulud is an incredible French chef from Lyon, France, opens up DBGB May 29th of 2010. July 7th, 2010, the same year, JJ and company open up DBGB's.
So what happened was, I guess if you Googled DBGB at some point during that time, we popped up before this restaurant in New York. And that's, I think, what really miffed them. A lawsuit followed to squash the name. We couldn't call it DBGB's anymore. We had to call it Duke's Bohemian Grove Bar.
When I got to Buffalo, there was live music everywhere, but every goddamn place was playing either tribute bands or just plain old cover bands or wedding bands. And the kids who are creative, and like, I can write my own song. I don't really need to learn how to play Light My Fire or Stairway to Heaven. I'd rather write my own Stairway to Heaven. The problem was there was nowhere for them to play except in Allentown.
Chippewa was the place to be at the time. That's where everyone was going. And Allen was kind of a slowed down area. And then with the revitalization between Goldman at Hardware and JJ at DBGB's and some of the other clubs on the street, Allen really picked up steam and started to put a hurt to Chippewa.
We used to pack this street before the pandemic. I mean, we took over this whole block. When we got a break from each other's places, we would go over and visit. So, I mean, that was fun having my boy next door. We offered something different. They could go to your place for something, and they would come to mine. I think we had a little system for maybe a year or two where if they paid to get into one of our places, they could go into both. So we kind of fed off each other, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
Allentown was like the equivalent of the Greenwich Village of New York City or the North Beach of San Francisco. And so this is where the people were who were saying, I'm sick of this mediocrity I'm surrounded with. I want to do something different.
We were looking at a couple different locations when we were thinking about opening Duke's.
I'd been talking to this guy, Rick Sasala, for years about this little place that he had, Staples of Allentown, and about maybe buying the business from him and do my own thing there. We made a deal with him to open up a place.
It felt right. Like, if I thought about trying to throw a show, I was always like, man, like, I wish Allentown would accept this shit. A few shows here and there back in the day. But it was always kind of pushed away. Like, they didn't want the ravers there, whatever you want to say, bass music, is what I felt. But also the venues weren't always big enough. You wanted a bigger room, this and that. So when Staples fit back room, it was perfect. We found a spot, it felt like we could make a home there. And then when we left, it was like, ugh. Found out that you bought it. And I was like, oh yes, we're back. And everyone loved that. That was a really big thing for Frosty Tunnel.
When we walked into Staples and kind of took a look around there, it kind of had everything we were looking for. It had that like kind of old Buffalo charm going on in the building, and it was on the right end of the street where we wanted to be.
I mean, it's Duke's Bohemian Grove Bar, and Bohemian is the word that describes the place perfectly. I mean, it's Allentown, and that place said, I'm Allentown.
To be bohemian, like the Village in New York and Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco, basically anything goes, right? It's kind of like this free love, lawless kind of vibe, and he definitely brought that in there.
Now at the third room, I got into different genres of music there. Club music that I wasn't really familiar with before. Got into drum and bass and jungle music and dubstep, house music, a lot of electronic dance music. And all these kids from all over the suburbs of the city all come flock to this place to come watch these shows. And it was like totally blew my mind. I'm like, wow, man, this is like an underground music scene that's like untapped. It's got so much potential, you know, and I started to develop this idea to bring it mainstream. The way I could bring it mainstream was have my own club and book the hell out of it. All these different groups that were doing it, all these different DJ crews, and hook up with the promoters that did it and like take it over the top. I want to talk about the landlord a little bit. When we took over this place, it was absolutely decrepit. It was disgusting.
The roof was leaking when we took over the building, bad plumbing, bad electric, and it was one Sunday afternoon. It might have been, I can't remember, the first or second year.
I want to say had to be the first fall that we were open. So we opened in July, and I think it was that November.
We're getting ready to have Devin Allman come. We get a new sound system in there. We get the place all ready to go. We're supposed to do this huge show, the biggest show that we did up until this point. Sold out. Music critic Jeff Myers is blowing it up. Art voice Jamie Moses is blowing it up. They're talking about it all over the internet, in the newspaper. I mean, the buzz is huge.
Rick Sasala, the owner, decided that he was going to put a new roof on, probably because we moved in there. We were paying a hefty rent. And we had a lot of complaints. Whenever it rained, water was leaking into our lights, and to here, there, the next thing.
We had people sitting right there, Six Top, eating food, and all of a sudden we hear the guys up there working, and they were guys. They were local, transient Allentown guys that weren't paid money. They were paid in liquor and wine.
He owned a liquor store and he liked to save money and he liked to pay people in booze. So he'd find different hobos and guys on the street and get them to come in and do the grunt work for him so he could save some money. So he paid a couple of guys in liquor to come rip the roof off.
But lo and behold, as we hear the chopping and the hacking, a hole opens up in the roof right there. It was fall. It wasn't that cold out yet, but there's leaves blowing around. So now I have a party of 6 eating food, watching a football game, and they look up and see 2 guys on my roof with a hole in it, looking down at them with leaves falling on their food. And I was just like, what the fuck?
And he rips the entire roof off the place without saying anything in the beginning of November. And if anybody knows Buffalo, New York, I mean, November, it can be 80 degrees one day and it can be 5 degrees the next day with 3 feet of snow.
The last few weeks in Western New York have been tough with so much snow and freezing cold. It's not uncommon for Western New York, but the extremes, especially with temperature, are. News 4's Kaylee Wendt breaks it down for us.
JJ, myself, and my wife Gabby, we go next door to see the owner, Rick. He's in the liquor store next door. And I'm like, Rick, what the hell is going on? He's like, what do you mean? And we're like, there's a hole in my roof now. It was leaking before, and I have a giant hole in the roof. And he says, well, I'm tearing the roof off. We said, that's great. And I said, well, when's the new roof gonna be put on? And he has this distinct voice. And he goes, when I find someone, then the roof will go on.
Rick had no plan and no one locked in to put a roof back on. So we had about 48 hours or less to figure out what to do before Devin Allman already, was coming into play. We had everybody that we knew up there on the roof, mortaring, this and that, putting bricks on, doing this. We had a giant tarp that we bought from Home Depot that we installed above this crazy lattice that they had in there. We hadn't ripped that out yet.
For the next 3 days, there's a torrential downpour of sleet and frozen rain down into 30 degrees, and there's water shooting in through our ceiling. I mean, you can look right up into the sky from the dance floor, from the stage room.
It was filled with water. All that it was going to take was one stitch coming undone. And it was going to be just like, I don't even know, 50 gallons of water spilled out.
And it was one of the most stressful, craziest things I've ever been through. And it's a testament to the fact that the place was open 3,428 days in a row and never closed. We didn't even close with no roof.
So I got back from Europe with them, and I had 1 week to put this band together. So give these guys some love for, literally, some of these guys met each other on Monday. That's how fast this thing came together. So speaking of Royal Southern Brotherhood,
and we somehow got the show done. And it was probably one of the greatest shows in the history of the place. Sold out.
I was not working there at that point, but I was certainly around in the scene, and I remember seeing the thing, I was like, how is Devin Allman gonna play at DBGB's? There's not a chance this guy doesn't walk into the place and be like, no fucking way am I playing in this room.
Devin Allman absolutely destroyed it. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking when he came into this club looking around. He was like, what the fuck am I doing? But somehow we managed to pull it off.
And then the roofers came in, and the roof was probably put on in about 2 days. So the whole thing would have taken less than a week had he just hired the right people, but it was just Allentown, crazy owner, just crazy times.
And they had no idea what they were in store for, because we turned one of the shittiest, dirtiest, scummiest little fucking dive bar rooms into a fucking juggernaut. An iconic place that I think people will be talking about 20 years from now. And that started with the music. I came up with this really ambitious music program. And the program was that I was going to start traveling around to New York or Los Angeles or Toronto or wherever I had to go. And I decided I was gonna make direct contact with these different recording artists, and I was gonna start bringing them in. And I was gonna have them play this dingy, shitty little room whose legal capacity still is only 91 people. We'd pack 300 people into this place for a show though.
So here's the thing about JJ. I mean, the dude's got enormous balls, as do I. So I have big plans for Buffalo when it comes to music. I wanted to bring big-time national and international talent to Buffalo on an intimate scale. And JJ was really the only person in the world of Buffalo that would be like, okay, let's bring this huge star up in here. And he'd bring in stars on my ask, and not only me, but a ton of other people too, other promoters and players.
Well, I met Crit at a P-Funk show. He'd come in, and he was just this really cool guy with a really cool vibe, and he basically had a mission to bring musicians in to Buffalo. What a cool vibe. It was a place where music still ruled. It was a place where, like, it was like the speakeasy of music. Like, oh, you can actually get real music if you come to this spot.
The best way to get talent like that cheap is to bypass the agents and the booking agents and the managers, right? If you can meet the person direct and negotiate with them and they like you, you're saving 50% right there off Jump Street.
He'd bring in these huge cats that, you know, on any given day of the week, play for 20, 30, 40,000 people. That's just who they normally are. Except at DBGB's, you would see these people up close and personal with, you know, 200 other Buffalo people for an intimate experience with their heroes, with their jam band and jazz heroes and some of the recording heroes of all time, you know. So instead of getting, let's say, a great big band like Soul Live, right? You know, I don't know, back then in their prime, they probably cost $30,000 or something. But you could get one of their players like Eric Krasno or the Evans Brothers, who happens to be from Buffalo. You could get them for a fraction of that cost, but still have this fucking huge experience, this huge musical experience, which was what DBGB's was all about. It was experiential.
You had this intuitive sense to constantly be scouring for what can I bring to the club that's going to be interesting? What can I bring here that nobody else is doing? What can I bring here that's different, that's going to attract an audience that doesn't exist?
They did everything from electronic music to hired metal music to rock and roll music to rap music, and yeah, everything in between.
That's what we did at the meeting at DBGB's, and that combined with the advent of social media, which was really a new thing. You know, you're talking 2009, 2010, had been around for a couple of years, MySpace, Facebook had been around for a couple of years, but nobody had really figured out how to exploit it or use it yet.
BuffaloBarfly.com was before anybody was really advertising bars and restaurants on the internet. That was, you know, before Facebook, before MySpace, before any of that. You know, it was the local place to find out, you know, what bars and restaurants, what bands there were around town. Chippewa was really the center of the action, and Crocodile Bar was, you know, a huge player in that. And that's when we started working together.
I was watching these kids pack the house by sending these event invites for music shows. It was like fascinating to me. And then when I found out it was for free, I like threw myself into it, and I wanted to talk to these kids and have them show me every single thing they could possibly show me about Facebook. And then Twitter became a thing, and now it's Instagram, it's all kinds of stuff, Snapchat, it's too much for me to even keep up with. There's so much stuff.
At the time, I was writing for the Art Voice and I was doing music features. So I would write an article for the Art Voice. Then I would go and check out the band at DBGB. So I would write the articles about the bands coming to town. And then I would go meet the band at DBGB's and get some photos on, I'm guessing, a flip phone.
DBGB's started out right from the beginning, online, website, online events, Facebook. We were advertising online. We learned how to use Facebook, how to create events and promote and build up a business page, a bar, a venue page. And really, every time you created an event, we could invite limitless a number of people without having to even pay for advertising. We found some workarounds.
There was a JavaScript you could find and paste into the bar, and it would select every single person in your list and send them the invite. And then they shut it down. I think they limited it to 200 or something like that.
Anyone that you could invite to an event, that was all done, through Facebook. It was all done online, and the crowds were amazing right away.
You walk in there and you're like, oh, this is a perfect bar environment. It's exactly what I want. And I don't even drink anymore, and I still loved hanging out there. It's got everything.
It is a small place, but the way that it's laid out, it's pretty cool. It's pretty unique. You had this diverse music going on. Nothing else around there was. Nobody's doing that.
You always hear about the places in certain cities where oh yeah, it's small, but guess who played there? That was one of those places. And the mix of genres and stuff that you'd have in there was so many.
That actually for me was awesome. In my restaurant years, it was never any music, So JJ, when we first started, and this place was a dump still, but JJ brought in Big Basha, dubstep.
I'd speak for our crew that, Frosty Tone and the people that I tried building our scene with. Just like that it was underground, away from people who expected other styles of music. It was open-minded, you could, just be creative. So it was a perfect spot for underground bass music.
Bob's got his own scene, man. Bob's got his thing going on. He created this whole genre of EDM and drum and bass music in Buffalo, and he's kind of the godfather of all that stuff, and still doing it, and still in the trenches, making music and doing what he loves to do.
Putting people in there to do dubstep, in 2007, 2008, was when it was coming out. There was a scene for it, and it was bubbling over, and when Jay finally opened up, there was a place for it then.
It was great coming there and making a little bit of money, man, and having a party, you know what I mean? It's a hobby that you're getting paid to do. You're having a fucking blast doing it.
That was a cool scene. I liked those guys. They brought a good crowd and they brought a good party there all the time.
Just the nice setting, the size of the room. It creates the perfect intimate vibe. So when you crunch it out with serious subwoofers or good sound, it's the perfect intimate bass tunnel, bass cave. So that was another, we needed that.
Sound was the big thing. I feel like there was kind of an arms race of such between some of the DJ crews as who can get the bigger subwoofers. Plaster would shake off of the ceiling when the sub would hit. We were literally shaking the ceiling down.
That went on for a while then, but eventually then we got different DJs, different styles, and then the band started coming. And then once the kitchen got built up, then we started doing Friday happy hours, always live bands.
I would go see Mo anytime they came through. That was the one I would always go through, because I was definitely not familiar with all the band names, but I was just down to experiment and check out all the different acts because it was always quality. I was like, well, what are they gonna have here tonight? A lot of times I would come without even knowing who it was, but Mo was one specifically I would always go to check out.
I first heard about DBGB's probably through Corey Kurtzy, or it might have been Kevin Kokoda, either one. What was so cool about it, you're coming into a very intimate thing, but the energy level in there, because of the intimacy of it, it would get slammed in there. It would be packed. And usually when you have a place that gets that packed and the music's good and the vibe is good and the energy level is high, it makes for this, a killer show.
size of what that stage was, it was a smallish stage, and it wasn't a large capacity room either, but you put like, a band like Floodwood on there after the Mo show downtown, and we must have hit almost 300 heads in that room that night.
Now, this coming from the EDM and all that crazy shit, getting into this was fun. These guys came in there with a ton of energy. They lit up the place. They brought in a ton of great people, and I really enjoyed working with these people. And it was a great time.
I met JJ through Corey Kurtzy. Basically, Vinny Amico brought Corey Kurtzy to one of my gigs in Chicago about 10 years ago. And I knew that all the Mo guys had kind of come out of Buffalo, and I'd been playing with Vinny a lot, and Turhack and all the guys. So anyway, after I met, Corey Kurtzy here, he turned me on to JJ, who owns DBGB's here. And JJ, he didn't even have the club yet. He's like, man, I'm building this club, we can have you come out and play. Okay.
We did some big stuff in there for how small the place was. I mean, just my company alone, we did jam bands like Turquoise and Dopapod and Biodiesel.
Well, that's the thing that was great about that room is no matter who you are, if you walk through there, there's probably going to be something that you're interested in. You might not like jam bands. There might be a jam band playing, but you probably like hip hop, and that's going to be happening later on in the night.
Yeah, psycho. Niggas know, niggas know shit, you know what I'm saying?
The Boot Camp Clique, multiple times. The Beatnuts, multiple times. Large Professor, always a really cool dude. Master Ace, multiple times.
One of my favorite things was hanging out with Master Ace when he was there. He's a cool dude. He really is. He's just down to earth, nice guy. And I was hanging out, I was like, I can't believe it. I used to listen to your music. Like I used to have your CD in my car in the 90s. And I'm sitting here hanging out with you right now. It was pretty cool.
The energy that would happen inside those shows was just infectious. It was huge. I mean, everybody was just absolutely enamored with the energy of the shows.
Yeah, like some of the big hip hop names that were through there were like Africa Bambaataa.
Let's go!
So the Africa Bambaataa show, the DJ setup that they had to have, there was so much ridiculous stuff up there, and he went up there and just absolutely burned the place to the ground. Unbelievable.
Pharaoh Monch was a big one for me.
Pharaoh Monch was probably the most chaotic, loudest hip-hop show that I've ever been at in my entire life. It was absolutely spectacular.
Met Rob Bass, met a lot of amazing musicians, mainstream musicians, who felt more at home and had a much better experience than they had at a stage with thousands of people.
What was your favorite?
Probably Large Professor. Yeah, probably Large Professor.
For one of the things that, as an artist myself, I want to go to places that explores and caters to other artists, right? And I've met so many different people just coming in and out the doors at DBGB's, whether it was from people from the hip hop scene, you're talking about artists that he brought in from Nice and Smooth, African Bambaataa, Talib Kweli, and these are like legendary artists. It's been a lot of different people, and I think that arts culture contributes to Buffalo culture, right? Like that's something that's a part of us, and that and DBGB's caters to that.
So pick up a pen, got my squad, take notes. Wrap us up with bleeding sprays and split throats. My style, delis like my past, schizophrenic. Grab stroke like a car radar. Freeze up and panic. Shot clock pesos. Don't so yeah, yo. Another word for cocaine. Me amigo.
Those live shows, the ones that were sold out and the ones that were packed were awesome and everything, but even the ones that didn't fly all the way, that it was about trying to be better and trying to do stuff and trying to cement that brand and to show that we were reaching out for anything that's good, we're gonna try and grab onto and we're gonna try and promote.
It's interesting to see the different crowds that come in with the music that he would have, because, you know, you would do a Grateful Dead night and then you do a rap night and you'd get the little bit of everything all in one place, and everybody gets along, everybody was happy.
DBGB's was one of those places where, you know, when you walk in, you'll see a judge, you may see a cop one night, you may see a kingpin. Nobody was bothering nobody because everybody wants to have a good time. When they want to have a good time, right? And your profession shouldn't be the reason why you can't have a good time or you can't hang out with certain people, right? And so I think DBGB's was that hodgepodge of different personalities, because DB's was a place where you could come and have some fun and not worry about like somebody telling on you that you're having fun.
It was very eclectic in age diversity, race diversity, sexual diversity. You know, everything was so different. I could go in here one night and see Mo. I could go on the next and see hip hop. I could see Neo Soul Tuesdays. I almost called in sick to work on every Wednesday because that was for Neo Soul Tuesdays.
We had a group that came in every week. They'd have a different lead singer called Neo Soul, and that was pretty awesome. It was every Tuesday. They do hip hop and R&B, but live, real sexy, real classy. Everyone was seated like a supper club. And that really changed our clientele and dynamic as well.
It was nuts. It was nothing like I've ever done before. I remember my first Tuesday, he did the Neo Soul, and it was all the, you know, Erykah Badu covers. And I walk up, and there's this line out the door, right? You can't walk in. I'm squeezing through people. They're all freaking out because they think I'm cutting in line.
As far as the diversity of the block, it wouldn't be like that without JJ. JJ brought in Neo Soul. I met a lot of great people from Buffalo that would never really come down to Allen if it wasn't for that music venue, and he'd open those doors for people to feel comfortable.
I started playing at Neo Soul Tuesdays and through Michael DeSanto. Yeah, we just started doing gigs there pretty much weekly at that point with our own group, and then also did side gigs throughout the weekends and some weekdays with other artists. So it was just one of the most frequented places that I worked at through my entire time at Buffalo. Some of the artists, I remember I was able to play with Bernard Purdy, which was someone that I didn't even know his extreme legacy at the time. So that was to my advantage because I'm just like not as nervous, you know. The fact I realized that he was James Brown's drummer.
The one band that I did go see is C.O. Jones. Now, my friend Dave Schultz is in that band.
I was playing at DBGB's probably as far back as 2003. It was a great excuse to come home and play for friends and family, which is always a big plus for me. I loved it. It was my kind of crowd. You know, I always say to people, it's harder to play in front of 5 people than 10,000. So I like a Buffalo crowd. I like sweaty. I like people that are close together, feeling the fucking groove, excuse my language. And to me, like, that's the audience I wanted to play for. So, you know, they came out and saw us in droves. It was awesome.
I think there was a lot of memories made there, and I will say that there's probably a lot of people around this town who went to the most epic party or had the most epic night that they probably ever have. at some point in the night, they were at DBGB's partying down.
I was there because I just loved everybody. So many good times and laughs and stories that come out of that place. It really is our own little piece of Studio 54 in this little corner of Buffalo.
I was telling my mom, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this interview. I was just drunk all the time. It was so fun, dancing, meeting people. No one partied harder than the people at DBGB's. So I might sound like a raging alcoholic, but I kid you not. It only happened at DBGB's.
Jay has really taken something that his family was very adamant on, and they never close. They are open every day of the year, period. Christmas Day, New Year's Day, Valentine's Day, Easter, they're open.
The bar holidays were awesome. You know Buffalo. Buffalo is a drinking town. If people have an excuse to go out and have a good time and get fucked up, they're gonna take it.
Halloween. JJ created the Halloween party of all. Nothing matched it.
Dude, like we had 3 days of just straight Halloween parties.
One year I went to DBGB in my Halloween costume, expecting to, win the costume contest. It was one of the greatest nights we had there, one of the greatest Halloweens I can remember. It was a lot of fun.
The costume parties, the costume contests. I mean, Halloween was just kicked it off, and then Thanksgiving is just, the night before Thanksgiving in Buffalo is insane. It's hands down probably one of the biggest party nights in Buffalo.
The Jive Turkey Party was great. We'd give away turkeys all night, which was so incongruous at a dance club. And people are out on the dance floor with turkeys all night long. It was a great free promotion giveaway. So we'd put out turkey dinner. You charge $5 at the door. You give the thing a little bit of exclusivity, and you make it a little extra nice for everybody inside. And you get some kind of headline DJ or some kind of band. And there's 200-300 people there on a night where there normally wouldn't be anything like that. We'd fill the place, and everybody would have a great time and really build that sense of community.
And that started off Christmas. Everybody's home from college. The fact that we were open Christmas Eve and Christmas is pretty crazy. No one was open Christmas Eve. We were open. So anybody that didn't want to be a family was at our bars. So we were the only bar open, so there were people there.
Last holiday, I was there for their holiday party, and they had this awesome buffet set up, just like a nice corner, but there was lobster, there was shrimp. This guy goes to the nines when he's throwing a party for his friends and family, which he considers his patrons, Yeah, I've been to the drag brunch hosted by Kiki, Jody Mancuso. They create this world for anyone, it's all inclusive, and it celebrates the LGBTQ community, which is so amazing.
We were the first bar in Western New York to start a drag brunch. And on that side of Allen, the first to have an LGBTQ community event on that side of Allen, because Buffalo segregated itself to have all the gay bars on one side of Allen and all the straight bars on the other. So we were the first bar on that side to do something to incorporate the community.
For me, was the best one, was New Year's Eve. I don't care where you work, they were open when you got out because they had an all-night liquor license, and the party went on until the next day.
Buffalo's a different town than a lot of places. We have one of the biggest St. Patty's Days in all the United States. And for years, we'd be rocking these St. Patty's Day out.
As soon as the parade was over, it just flocked. I mean, people just flooded into the bar. You couldn't even get through. It was like, I used to say, leaving DBGB's, walking out in a party like that was like you're being born from a cocoon.
Dingus Day was different because we also ran the liquor tent over at the Central Terminal. We were literally busing people from one end to the other back and forth. So that was bringing the sober people to there, bringing the drunk people back to the bar.
We nail it, murder it, busiest place. Because we slap the shit out of people with pussy wills, squirt it with squirt guns. We get involved, we put out Polish sausage and sauerkraut and pierogies,
A nice thing about Dukes is that you were always open for the people that didn't have family, which was really cool. The holidays where you're with your family, you got nowhere to go, DBGB's is open, we're gonna feed you and we're gonna scream your name when you walk through the door.
Jay had something there, he had the Easter food, he had the ham, he had the pierogies. He put out these beautiful spreads, 4th of July. You've been at the fireworks. Okay, come on, I got a pig roast going. President's Day. The 4th of July party was part of his birthday party. Huge celebration.
So the scene to me, I always called Vegas. It's just like magic, right? Like you walk in the door, you're like, yes, bitch. The lighting is perfect. The music is just like the right amount of bass. JJ was always in the back.
and he is very picky about what it sounds like. So it has to sound good, it has to do everything right, and it has to bring in the right crowd.
VLT, volume, lights, temperature. You want the lights to be dim because people feel sexier. You want it to be a little bit too warm in there because they get thirsty and drink more. You don't want it to be too quiet, you don't want it to be too loud. A little louder than it should be, and that's how it usually works.
Jay was in that sound booth incessantly, messing with dials, up, down, temperature, chairs in, chairs out. He made sure that the crowd never lost its edge, the crowd never calmed down.
If you ask anybody what they miss most about the old location DBGB's and what we were known for, it was our bathrooms.
I can tell you from personal experience, those bathrooms, yeah. Just yeah. Because, right, it's kind of the perfect situation.
At DBGB's, we had 2 bathrooms, and they were basically a single bathroom in each one, so they were universal bathrooms. You could go in there with a guy or a girl or, 3 people and easily just shut the door and do whatever you want. If you wanted to do drugs in the bathroom, you could. You had sex in the bathroom until it became a problem where people would come to the door and tell us security, these people been in the bathroom for 20 minutes.
Sometimes the door opens up and it's a clown car. 10, 15 people walk out of a bathroom that's like 5 by 6. How the hell do they all fit in there? Who knows?
Oh man. I'm pretty sure there's a saying, what happens in the bathroom stays in the bathroom. Those bathrooms were always full of people. I know what was going on in there when I was in there, but I don't know what was going on in there when other people were in there.
Most of us were single for a reason. You can't really have a boyfriend working for DBGB's. Like, that's just not really how it was. I mean, especially not one that, was like, would sit at the bar, So yeah, I was living my life. I was hanging out.
As far as the sex goes, a lot of it probably just happened in the office in the basement.
So when you get called down to the basement, it's your private little lounge. It's your secret area to do whatever drugs, say whatever, do whatever.
The parties that I saw going on, some of the stars had a bottle of something waiting for them down there. That was their dress room where they got ready for the show down there.
I will say it was kind of ironic on some nights that the party seemed to be more fun down in the basement. It was hot and it was smelly and there was low ceilings, but before you know it, there'd be 20 people down there and you'd be like, all right, come on guys, too many people down here, we gotta get upstairs.
There were so many stories, so many celebrities, big time musicians and actors that came through the place. One of the best stories in the history of DBGB's was, I don't remember exactly what year it was, maybe 2015. And Charlie Murphy, Eddie Murphy's younger brother, the guy really made famous by Dave Chappelle with the whole Rick James skit.
And he comes out the room and I look at him and I'm not bullshitting, man. I seen like an orange, his aura or whatever, I seen it. He was orange.
Charlie Murphy was in town a couple days staying at Helium, the comedy club.
I befriended Charlie Murphy at the New York City airport at one point. We exchanged numbers. But anyways, I called up JJ immediately. JJ was always the person to call when you needed something special to happen.
She calls me up and she says, Jay, I was at the Charlie Murphy show and I met Charlie Murphy and he wants to come to the club. So I'm like, okay. I was like, what does he want? Cordon off a little VIP section for him. And he's gonna want some, maybe a couple lobster tails, a little champagne, make it classy for him, make him feel cool. I'm like, okay. And I'm standing out behind the back patio and making all the arrangements. And I go back into the club and I'm like, hey, Charlie Murphy's on the way here. I need a bottle of champagne set up, bottle of Mo set up. I need a couple lobster tails ready on the go. Let's get ready to show Charlie Murphy a good time. So a couple minutes later, I hear a knock at the back fence, and I go back to the back fence, and I'm looking through, and I open it up, and this guy's like, you JJ? And I'm like, yeah, I'm JJ. And I'm like, are you Charlie? He's like, yeah, I'm Charlie. We bring Charlie Murphy in, go down in my office. We're smoking a little bit of weed. So the next thing you know, he's like, that lobster was really good. I'm a little buzzed from the champagne. He's like, anybody got a little pick-me-up, a little woo? And I'm like, let me look around the club. He looks me dead in the face and he goes, JJ, he goes, come on, man. He's like, what you working with here? He's like, that's not the kind of stuff Charlie Murphy does. And I go, what do you mean? And all of a sudden he goes into his sock and he pulls out this giant bag of blow. Now Charlie Murphy looks at me dead serious in the face and he goes, you want to buy some? I said, buy some? I was like, God damn, Charlie Murphy, I go, shit's tough on the road out here, man. I go, you're not making it like you used to. I'll come with a couple buddies of mine, and they're looking at me, and something didn't ring true. Why the fuck is Charlie Murphy trying to sell me some drugs? So I look up Charlie Murphy's tour on my phone, and I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to ask him a couple questions. I'm like, hey, Charlie, I'm like, where are you playing next? He's like, oh, I'm playing in Portland. I go, Portland? How you going all the way from Buffalo to Portland, right? And he goes, I don't know, man. I don't make the tour. My manager makes the tour, I go, that's a long way from Buffalo to Portland, Oregon. He's like, I don't know, man. I just, you know what I mean, man? I just get on the plane or I get on the bus and do what I got to do and go to the show. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's just Portland, Maine. It's not Oregon. And I'm looking at him. My buddy's behind him, and he's got his cell phone like this behind him. And he's going, and I go, what? I go, what? He goes, it's not Charlie Murphy. So now all of a sudden, like, I washed with fear. I go, what the fuck? I go, this isn't even, who the fuck is this guy, right? So now we're all looking at each other. We're whispering a little bit to each other. He goes, JJ, I got to come clean with you, man. I go, what's up? He goes, I'm not Charlie Murphy. You're not Charlie Murphy? I go, what do you mean you're not Charlie Murphy? What the fuck? You're eating the lobster, you're smoking the weed, drinking the champagne? I go, who the fuck are you? He's like, man, I was standing behind the fence when you were talking to your girl on the phone. I heard the whole thing. He goes, I figured I'd just take a shot at the free champagne and the fucking weed. And the next thing you know, I'm down in the basement with these 3 Italian guys. He's like, listen, he's like, I'm not gonna tell anybody. He's like, just let me go. Don't hire me. I won't tell a soul that I'm not really Charlie Murphy. And I was like, holy shit. I can't, who the fuck is this guy? I was like, what's your name? He was like, Steve. I was like, Steve, get the fuck out of here. And as I'm walking him out the back alley, car pulls up, the back door opens, and out pops Charlie Murphy and my friend Juliet. It's like deja vu. It's like, JJ? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, Charlie? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, but I know it's the real Charlie Murphy because I got Juliet with me. So I get in the bar and I tell the bartender, I'm like, get me a lobster tail and a bottle of Moet real fast for Charlie Murphy. She's like, didn't we just get a lobster tail and a bottle of one for Charlie Murphy? I'm like, yeah, that was the other Charlie Murphy. I was like, that was a stunt double.
I mean, the fake Charlie Murphy night was definitely a good one. I was there, yeah, for sure.
Did you see the imposter?
I did. He was a pretty good lookalike. I can't front. He was a pretty good lookalike.
Some of the people I got to really spend time with over the years, Ron Perlman was there.
I got the phone call that Ron Perlman was day drinking in the bar. I went in, shook hands with him, sat down, we had a couple of drinks together, talked about shooting the film, talked about Buffalo, which he liked. He was a fan.
I had the pleasure, the thrill to hang out with Kate Hudson all night one night. She was really cool. She just wanted to be a regular girl. She was partying with us, hanging out with us, dancing on the dance floor with the DJs, hanging out in the office. John Abrahams, who I became friends with, who later directed me in Clover, and became a close personal friend.
My first film, All at Once, we shot in 2015, and my buddy Matt Quinn lived around the corner from DBGB, and so when I was scouting locations, I think we went there to take a look at stuff. It didn't end up working out for that film, but it did work out in the sense that we had a wrap party there. I remember the wrap party was pretty crazy. We had the mayor there. We were up on stage and they gave me Key to the City or whatever it is, the Golden Buffalo. And then we had the wrap party for my second film, Clover, there in 2017 or 18. I DJ'd that rap party. So not only have I had my film's rap parties at DBGB's, but I've DJ'd in DBGB.
Tony doesn't know you're back yet, does he? Jesus Christ, no. I didn't go see him yet. You guys are all alike.
Hey, we've seen guys drag their dicks before, Sal. Take advantage of the government's generosity, playing both ends against the middle.
Bryce, will you give me a window over here?
The first time I came to Buffalo, you were our guy. From the second I met you, I felt like we were family, first of all, right? You were just the camaraderie of you. You know how to bond with people, and that's what brought me immediately gravitated to you. So we went back and we ate, all the guys, and hung out, and then we just started hanging out all the time. But when I went into that bar, it immediately reminded me of the Bronx heydays, and what I loved about it was the arcade games and that stage, and you felt like a presence there, like a history of stuff there. Even going in the basement, it was almost like this place that I felt that I was in there a few years. I felt like I was there for 20 years. We did Clover, and then what other movie did I do up there? Givers of Death, right. We did another movie that, you're right, you guys put me in the second movie. And I came back there, and I kind of found Buffalo to be this fucking great little
place. But the guy that probably had the biggest impact, that we were probably lucky enough to spend some time with, was Chadwick Boseman. That was the summer of 2016, and my friend Addison Henderson was in town, and we always kept in touch. Addison and I came up together in Buffalo in the independent film scene back in the early 2000s, before it really took off like it is now, where, you know, where we have these big productions coming to town.
I had did a film with Corey Green, who had become a filmmaker when we did The Forgotten City. So, you know, I had built a little name for myself as a local filmmaker. And, you know, I had seen some of the local artists, some of the local rap artists, some of their videos and things like that. And, you know, I didn't really know at the time who was doing those videos.
So one of our events this evening, it's the mayor. I'm just proud of me and my niggas, what we doing. Know what I mean? Channel 7, Cleveland, both tomorrow.
I auditioned before moving back to LA for a little pilot that was happening in Buffalo called Discs. Then I ended up meeting JJ, who becomes one of my best friends. And then what we do is we continue to build. Even when I left to go to LA, JJ would come out to LA to visit me and things like that. And we would continue to build on our relationship, artistic relationship.
Ever since then, 2005, 15 years ago, Addison and I kept in touch with each other and developed a really close friendship, almost a brotherly friendship. I mean, we're that tight.
I like the nightlife. If you know me, you know me. I like the nightlife. I like the energy that it brings. I like going out and meeting people and talking. You know, that's just who I am. And so whenever I will come back into town, I will always hang out at JJ's bars, and we would connect and things like that. And what ended up happening is that I had left to go back to LA. I was doing my thing out in LA. I started working with Chadwick Boseman. And so one summer, not that long ago, we came back to Buffalo to shoot Marshall. I really championed for that movie to come to Buffalo because I knew all that Buffalo brought to the table. And so one of our first nights there, I was like, come on, I'm gonna take you over to my buddy's bar.
Addison calls me, it's 2016, and he calls him and he says, Jay, listen, I'm bringing Chad Boseman to the club tonight. I really would like you to do me a favor and meet us at the front door. We'll be there in about 5 minutes. Chad had done a couple films. He'd done the Jackie Robinson story, a couple of smaller pictures, maybe the Ernie Davis movie. But he wasn't a household name. He wasn't an international superstar like he became. And he was in Buffalo doing this movie Marshall, which I didn't even know about at the time. He'd just done the James Brown movie. And I was so impressed by the guy that played James Brown, but I didn't really know his name. And Addison comes strutting up to the front of the bar. I'm sitting out there with the doorman, waiting for him to arrive. And this guy comes walking in behind him, and I'm looking at him, and I go, holy shit, that's the guy that played James Brown.
And so I get to the bar, and JJ's like, wait a minute. He's like, wait, that's Chadwick Boseman right there. And I was like, yeah.
I was like, man, I really enjoyed your work as James Brown. That was fantastic. And we made fast friends.
From then on, that became me and Chad's place to hang out. We were always at DBGB's. We were always at the expo. JJ took care of us, the chicken wings, the this, the that, whatever we wanted, he took care of it. And it established that relationship. So I can even remember while we're shooting Marshall in JJ's basement, which I modeled in our movie Givers of Death, but we're in JJ's basement in the bottom of DBGB's. It's me, Chadwick Boseman, Sterling K. Brown, Kay Hudson, Josh Gad.
And for the next month, these guys hung out at DBGB's practically every single night. And if we weren't at DBGB's, I was invited to the set or to the house they were staying at, or they came over my house, and we spent the next month together.
It was in that moment we realized that everything was possible. It was in that moment that I realized that I'm gonna come back here to do a movie, but I'm also gonna involve my friend in that movie.
Maybe you could talk to them again. I'm thinking could help you the way it helped me.
I was very inspired as an artist by DBGB's. Coming there, watching the people, hearing the stories, and sitting down in the office with you, especially during that summer when we were shooting Marshall, and just seeing all the people come in and out and the people that loved you and the way they treated you. So when I came up with the idea for Givers of Death, I said, it's only right that we have the guy that runs it all. It has to be modeled after my experience in Buffalo during that summer with JJ and seeing everything, right? And I was like, you know, I wrote the character in the voice of you because I could hear you talking when I was writing. I was like, oh, this is great, this is that.
You know our whole fucking crew's fucked now, right? That fucking Detective Schmidt, the guy that's been snooping around, I mean, you see this fucking guy? Now this makes perfect sense.
Anybody talk?
I don't think so, but you know our crew, I mean, who knows?
Addison doing that movie before it ended, you got your entire life in this little bit of a movie. That's one thing about film, is once you shoot something, it's forever. And that's what it's gonna do. It's gonna immortalize his bar.
So when I left, I just kind of left silently, but I never told the landlord I was moving on. JG was buying us out. We were 5 years in, we had a 5-year lease deal, JG wanted to continue.
Well, that's probably it. Am I glad that I closed that door in my life? Yeah, it was time to move on, you know. You get too old to party 365 nights a year, but I'll never forget it, that's for sure.
The end of that era became the beginning of a new era, though, which was myself and my ex-wife.
I met JJ, I was probably 23 years old, and I worked at the 31 Club for his father. I remember the first show was Soul Patch. It was 90s alternative, and we were out there jamming, and I ran into JJ in the back. I was like, hey, are you Jimmy's son? And we started talking, and I was like, man, if you could deal with him, you could probably deal with me. I used that line because it was intriguing to me. I guess I was attracted to the toughness and also the nightlife and the bars.
She said, like, what are you doing next Thursday or something? I had tickets to the Hotel Lafayette grand opening. My friends in Germany, they're opening up their hotel.
So I was like, take me to the Hotel Lafayette grand opening. And from there, we started dating.
I think she had a whole plan, see, because she was gonna open up the Gypsy Parlor. She'd already bought the building. She'd already been in the restaurant business, but she didn't really know how to open up an eclectic place.
JJ's very smart. You could ask him any president or any capital of any state. He does have that book smart. And on a selfish level, my eyes were on having restaurants, you know, so it was an easy way to get to the top. And I did. By the time I was 30, I had 3 liquor licenses.
About a year later, we're married. She's the manager of DVGB. She's learning all my trade secrets, all my DJs' phone numbers, getting numbers for plumbers and electricians and equipment guys and security guys. And basically my whole program that I put together for like the previous 15 years, she went on a crash course, learned all this shit, and opened up her own place. And I can't believe we did this, Gabrielle, in hindsight. You're pretty smart. We parlayed to one place into 2 places with the Gypsy Parlor, 3 places with GBGBs. We had a good thing going on, but nothing lasts forever.
Good evening once again. People and business owners in Buffalo's Allentown neighborhood are demanding action tonight. They say they are sick and tired of all the problems and the crime associated with all the partying that's going on in their neighborhood.
Buffalo police charged 2 men and a woman with gang assault after a fight broke out in Allentown Sunday morning.
Too many bars. And now everybody that moves in there only wants to open bars, bars, bars.
Allentown has become the new Chippewa, but the issues aren't just at night. They spill over into the day and into the residential neighborhood.
Almost every weekend we have fight in the area.
This is what the street pretty much looked like. A lot of times what would happen is the other bars close down earlier, some may close at 2 or 3, then their whole crowd has nowhere to go. So all their people are trying to come into our place, which we're already full. So it just created a crazy scene out in front of people trying to get in, everyone's mad, they're trying to rush the door, people are trying to sneak into the bar, we're pushing people back. It was almost like a riot scene every Friday and Saturday night to try to keep it under control.
The cops will pull up at 11:30 at night, knowing that at 3 in the morning there's going to be a fight out there, because there was every night. No cops to be found. They would just let them fight it out until someone was almost dead or dead.
And at that point, we're dealing with a lot of thugs at the time and homeless people and harassing the girls. And that kind of like turns some people away. It makes them nervous about, what's going on the street at the time.
It's just ridiculous that it got to that point, because that street wasn't like that when we first got there. It really wasn't.
Really excited sitting here with JJ Alfieri. You have 2 films in the Buffalo International Film Festival tomorrow, which is amazing.
Yeah, we are so excited. Tomorrow we're going to premiere The True Adventures of Wolf Boy, directed by Martin Craigie. And we're going to premiere Clover, directed by John Abrahams. And I was really fortunate to have great roles in both movies.
Okay, but a lot of people here, they're starting to know you as an actor, but for years they've known you as a restaurateur, as a club owner. So you sort of had an interesting journey to get to now where your acting career is really taking off.
About 15, 16 years ago, I was at the Department of Media Studies in Buffalo, and I had this dream to make movies. I always thought I'd be behind the camera, not in front of the camera. I sort of got sidetracked over the years. I fell into the family business. Crocodile Bar on Chippewa once upon a time was a famous place, and then I struck out on my own and opened DBGB's on Elm Street.
This Expo we're looking at now, you own that one over there.
We opened up Expo on Hurdle. DBGB's is really home-based, though, and that's what we're talking about a little bit here with all of the people that came through DBGB's, which allowed me an opportunity to get back to doing what I really love to do. This is the world-famous DBGB's right here. Home to 30 Grammy winners, or Grammy nominees in this little place. Can you believe it? Movie stars, sports stars, pop culture stars. If you're in Buffalo and you're anybody, this is the place you come late night to have a good time. 7, this was the Bend on Helen. I took this place over, helped my friend turn it into a great spot. We're in a really good place called Flavors in Allentown. Flavor for everyone. So there's the work crew working in here. Round the clock. We're gonna get this all spruced up. By this time next year, this place will be banging. This will be the hottest place in town. Everybody's going to be talking about it.
So right now, we're less than 2 hours away from life-changing events, changing more than it already has for so many, all because of the COVID-19 outbreak.
The coronavirus outbreak has taken a major toll on the restaurant industry, and for many of them, the future is unknown.
The restaurant industry continues feeling the pain of the pandemic. Even with the options of outdoor dining and limited indoor dining, some are still forced to close their doors permanently.
I remember my father called me up in like early March and he says, "Can you believe what's happening to the world?" I said, "What?" And he said, "Well, you're not reading the newspaper? This virus it's coming." I said, "Virus? What are you talking about? It's just a virus." And then on March 15th, polling cars comes on the news and says, "Get inside, shut down everything."
The scenes never bounced back from the COVID. You know, we're time out, the rules were all lifted, and the street has just never picked back up. Some of our old customers, I don't know where they are. They're just not here anymore.
One word, hopeless. I mean, when COVID hit, people were desperate. You had no idea what was going to happen next, how long you're going to be closed, how long we're going to be, told we can't go anywhere. People were scared. I mean, it really hurt a lot of people, and it closed a lot of doors permanently. I mean, 2 of the businesses lost their leases, and it doesn't matter how much aid you send. After a business loses their lease and loses all their customers and gets put on the blacklist by their vendors, I mean, that money doesn't fix those problems.
Bars, restaurants, and gyms across the state are closed right now. The new rules took effect just moments ago. News 4's Erica Brucker spoke with business owners who say their livelihoods are now being threatened.
The new 10 o'clock closing regulation is the beginning of deja vu for some establishments. Others have lost all or nearly all. DBGB's in Allentown never closed a single day until March, and the pandemic put its original location out of business.
Where do you want to begin? This whole section of the bar, we had it on at one point. We bought the building. This wasn't here. There was an old meat cooler that the former owner had put in here. Thought he'd sell homemade sausages and growlers of beer. It was a great idea at the time. So we loved the fact that it was this narrow bar that you walked in, you never saw the back room. And then JJ, my brother-in-law, had the idea. He goes, "It'd be great, and they'll have this giant back room for live music, DJs, bands, the whole works." We had the place painted. I did a lot of the painting myself. Some of the artwork here, we hired artists to come in and do the Baphomet and the owl, the Bohemian Grove owl, with the serpent eating his tail.
I made best friends there. I made best musical memories there. I got to play with people that I'll never be able to play with again. I just thank every aspect of DBGB's and every person that went into it.
I just have not found a place that was as fun as DBGB's was. Like, I've been to several cities and I still haven't found an area quite as good as Allentown and DBGB's. It just had its thing, and unless you were there, it's hard to describe it.
When I heard the bar was closing, it was sort of a sad moment because it was the end of an era for me. That 10 years of my life there, that decade, I'll never forget. And I had a lot of good memories there.
Yeah, that's very, very sad. That's a missing piece to the puzzle there in Allentown now. I don't know, what are we gonna do? Like, where are we gonna go? What are we gonna do? Buffalo like needs to ask those questions because that's like an important part to our culture. So now, like, who do we bring when we have like movie stars that wanna have a good time? Where would we take them?
Tell me a little bit about your brother.
Well, he was a character. He had this just way about him. He was kind of a force in whatever room that he was in. He just had this way of bringing people together, getting them to create. I think that he had been fighting for so long to build something and to really, reach his ultimate goal, which was to create good and worthwhile art. I think that he just kind of burned out in his journey to get there. I think with everything that happened with COVID and his marriage and between him and me and Pat, and just, it was hard, and I think he was close to achieving what he wanted to, but I think he didn't have anything left in the tank.
What can I say? Only the good die young, I guess. Usually it's the most talented, kindest, loving, giving people that are taken early, and that's a shame. But I'll tell you what, over that 4 weeks or 6 weeks, that was when I went from strictly being in the nightclub and restaurant business to believing that maybe it was possible to get back into doing production and being involved in making television and movies. And I started thinking to myself, I said, you know, I'd really like to get back into doing what I went to school for and get back into the movies and television. You know, we'd been talking for months up to that point. I talked about my desire to get back into movies and TV, and they were like, hey, you have an idea. We're about to be out of popular right now. I'm about to be Black Panther. Like, I think the next week it came out on the cover of Time magazine. And I was like, holy shit, we're gonna get into producing our own stuff. Pitch us an idea that we can't say no to, and maybe we'll make a movie. I thought of all these ideas that I could pitch, personal things that I wanted to do films about, or different ideas I had. And I was just about to pitch something, and I stopped myself, and I'm like, you know what, guys, this is a big moment in my life right now doing this, and it's on the cuff. Can you give me like 15 minutes, 20 minutes to go to my room and just get deep in thought and think about the right idea to pitch to you guys? I go, who knows? It might be the only time I ever get to pitch an idea to you guys the rest of my life. So they were like, sure, whatever. And I went to my bedroom and I came out about 20 minutes later. I pitched Haunted by Dr. King, which 2 years later is written and ready to start rocking and rolling. I'm at my age, right, and like I achieved a lot. I have little resources to work with, and I don't have a wife. I don't have children. I don't have really anything holding me back at all. So I'm freewheeling as much as I can. I'm just trying to accomplish the most that I can until the wheels spin off or something else happens. Everything that's happened in the last 3 or 4 years really stems from that month in the summer of 2016. That I was lucky enough to share with these guys.
I didn't mean to make you cry. Don't leave your love outside the door. Take a chance on the moon in the blue sky. Can't you see it's time to get up and get down? There's more to life than the daily grind. Take a chance on the moon in the blue sky. We all tend to live in fear. It's a culture of the world today. It's gonna be okay. Take a chance.